Good morning, it's Melanie. Welcome to Monday Morning Message number 8, and I'm talking about bitterness. A couple weeks ago, I talked about anger, and while I think bitterness and anger are close relatives, I don't think they're the same. When we're angry, it's usually directed towards something or someone. But when we become bitter, I don't know that that's necessarily the case. Something I've finally figured out over my 45 years of life is that every person has a story. And within those stories, every person has a reason to be a little bitter, which is why there are so many glass half empty people in the world. So when we're grieving a loss as huge as the death of one of our children, and we're emotionally exhausted, it is easy to get sucked into that glass half empty mindset. Because the mind believes what we tell it. After Garrett died, had I told myself, this isn't fair, I'm never going to live through this and I am never going to be happy again, I probably wouldn't be. Instead, I told myself, even though this sucks, and this is the worst thing that I have ever had to live through, I am going to find a way to be happy again, and I'm going to ensure that my Garrett is remembered. I love the tale of the two wolves. I don't know if you've heard it. I'll tell it. It's a story of an old grandfather talking to his grandson, and he said, within every person lives two wolves, and one of the wolves is evil, and it is full of anger and bitterness, envy, sorrow, self-pity, guilt and resentment, and lies. And the other wolf is good, and it is full of joy and peace and love, hope, kindness, empathy, faith, and truth. And there is a battle between the two wolves until one of them finally wins and controls the other one. And the grandson says, well, Grandpa, which one wins? And Grandpa simply replied, the one that you feed. My favorite quote about bitterness is from a guy by the name of Josh Shipp. And he said, no matter what happens to you in life, you will get bitter or you will get better. But ultimately, the choice is yours. So choose wisely, my friends. And I will talk to you next week.